Support.
The maestro, please!
Yep, we're doing it. It's number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 right now, so I really don't have a choice as we've already done number 1. Today we're gonna be going over Last Night by Morgan Wallen. Alright, let's get this out of the way first. For those of you who don't watch Record Rundown, Morgan Wallen has been a bit of a, well, a bit on that show considering his controversy and troublesome past. Now, I am no stranger to talking about artists with controversies or troublesome pasts. Honestly, you can look at the pop analysis I did on Dua Lipa's Levitating, which features DaBaby. Regardless, the best way to approach these sorts of educational environments with certain things that might be controversial is to address them at the forefront and always mention them within the context of whatever it is that you're talking about. So, that being said, we're gonna take this and slap it right up there for the duration of this video, just so we all know where we stand on this. And now that that's been addressed, we can get into it.
Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen is a country artist, meaning he's out of the United States, specifically Tennessee, who's had a number of pop hits ever since he came onto the scene in 2016. Some of his most successful songs were back in 2020, such as
That was 7 summers ago.
given he's had more recent hits as well.
I've wasted on you all of this time and all of this background.
Last Night was released as a single on February 6th of 2023, charting shortly thereafter at number 27. Last Night then was able to climb up the charts and actually did get to number 1 on March 18th. However, as of the end of March, it currently sits at number 2. Last Night is off of Morgan Wallen's third studio album, One Thing at a Time, which was released on March 2nd. Last Night is actually the third of 4 singles off of said album, the first 2 being
I need something you prove, something stronger than I
and
thought you should know, thought you should know, thought you should know.
and the fourth and most recent single being the title track of the album.
But I'm only quitting one thing at a time.
Oddly enough, Morgan Wallen isn't actually given any songwriting or production credits. He is solely the performer. The one actually given songwriting and or production credits are John Byron, Ashley Gorley, Jacob Kasher, Charlie Handsome, and Joey Moi. John Byron does have a number of songwriting credits to his name, but those that have charted are all with Morgan Wallen, so he has no pop credits outside of this artist. Next we have Ashley Gorley, who has a number of pop credits to his name. Unsurprisingly, they are all country, such as
And she said, play it again, play it again, play it again.
and
Come on now, we're running out of moonlight.
not the first time we're talking about Jacob Kasher. We first talked about him when we were doing
'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through.
Since then, he's managed to get a couple of more pop credits to his name, such as
You only say you love me when you're high. He's like, we go do the same.
in addition to
Memories follow me left and right. I can feel over here.
Ryan Voshtasak, I hope I'm saying that right, better known as Charlie Handsome, is oddly enough more so known as a hip-hop producer. Some of his biggest pop credits include
Oh, I Gucci suit, I'm feeling righteous. Yeah, I know that the truth is hard.
and more recently,
And I can put you in.
finally we have Joey Moi, whose credits date all the way back to
Everything's so blurry and everyone's so fake.
but you would probably most know him for his work on
Roll my windows down and
Last Night is released jointly by Big Loud, Republic, and Mercury.
form.
Last Night is listed as a country pop song, is just under 2 3/4 minutes long, is in D sharp minor or E flat minor, depending on who you ask, and is 102 beats per minute. After the quick guitar intro, we get the first chorus to start things off,
Last night we let the liquor talk.
which is then followed by the first verse.
Last night I kissed your lips, make you grip the sheets with your fingertips.
No pre-chorus, going straight into the second chorus,
I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all.
which then leads us into the second verse.
My friends say let her go.
Skip the bridge right onto the third chorus,
You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met.
which then dovetails into an outro,
No way was I last night.
before the song finally ends.
No way was I last night. Guitar.
There are actually two guitars, one electric and one acoustic, that play throughout the entirety of the song. The acoustic guitar is the one we mostly hear from, giving us our musical structure. It does these arpeggiated chords and melodies, but if you break down the chords, it's actually B major, C sharp with a fourth, D sharp minor 7, and then it repeats that given there's no D sharp minor 7 at the end, it's just D sharp minor. The electric guitar up top just gives us these nice textural elements. You can see that the acoustic guitar never actually changes during the song, playing the same thing throughout the entirety of it. The electric guitar, though, does change sometimes, and sometimes becomes the focus, like at the end of this phrase.
Bass.
The bass, oddly, is more emblematic of hip-hop than country, and really only plays during the thicker textural parts of the song, starting off on that low B, then going up to C sharp, then going up to D sharp, before hitting on that F sharp and repeating the same process, given sometimes with different rhythms. The bass never really changes from that, although occasionally on the end of a subphrase, that F sharp will have a bend down to it.
Ukulele.
Wouldn't expect a ukulele in a country song, and honestly, it's so processed you can't even tell that it's a ukulele. Regardless, it plays on certain parts of the song very sparingly, just strumming this F-sharp major chord to kind of lay over everything, making some of those earlier harmonies a bit more complex.
Chorus.
The chorus, rhythmically for the most part, focuses around quarter notes and eighth notes. Melodically speaking, it really stays around F sharp, given he does go all the way up to B before making his way back down, with that melisma at the end going from F sharp to D sharp.
Last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all.
The following phrase does expand his range a good amount, starting off on that low D sharp before quickly making his way to the D sharp an octave higher. He does still ultimately end around that F sharp though. And here you can also notice that he's doing more eighth notes, but we don't really get much further beyond that, minus the one melisma on yet.
You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night.
The second chorus doesn't really change much from that, minus some effects being applied to his vocals. The only difference is at the very beginning we have this lead-in on that A sharp, G sharp, F sharp.
I know that last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all.
Given at the end of the second chorus, we actually have this repeated phrase at the end, which has some backup vocals echoing it.
No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night.
The third chorus, just like the second chorus, is mostly the same, but with a lead-in with different words this time.
Oh baby, last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all.
But just like the second chorus, the third chorus starts extending it, and we even have different lyrics now as well, given it's still the same melodies and rhythms.
No way it was our last night. We said we'd had enough. I can't remember everything we said, but we said too much.
And just like the phrase before it, he actually does continue to give us new phrases. Again, same melodies and same rhythms, but different lyrics.
I know you packed your shit and slammed the door right before you left, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night.
Verse.
In terms of range, the verse isn't actually that different from the first chorus, never lower than that low D sharp, and never actually higher than that A sharp. Rhythmically, though, it is wildly different, very much relying on syncopation.
I kiss your lips, make you grip the sheets with your fingertips. Last bottle of Jack, we split a fifth. Just talking about life, going sip for sip, yeah.
In the second phrase of the first verse, though, things get a bit more different, going back to focusing on quarter notes and eighth notes, but the range does expand a little bit, going all the way to that B, and things are much more spaced out.
You know you love to fight, and I say shit I don't mean. but I'm still gonna wake up wanting you and me.
The second verse is actually quite similar to the first. After the lead-in, we're still really focusing on syncopated rhythms, no lower than a D sharp and no higher than an A sharp.
No way it was the last night that we break up. I see your taillights in the dust. You call your mama, I call your bluff. In the middle of the night, pull it right back up, yeah.
This is even more true for the second phrase of the second verse. Almost entirely the same, except on the back half we have more eighth notes.
My friends say let her go. Your friends say what the hell, I wouldn't trade your kind of love for nothing else.
Outro.
The outro melodically and rhythmically is just taking material from the chorus, given it has changed lyrics.
I know you said this time you really weren't coming back again, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet.
This continues into the second phrase of the outro that ultimately ends the song as well, just doing this repeated "no way it was our last night" with the backup vocals doing an echo.
No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night.
So there you go, pop analysis on a Morgan Wallen song. Now, I don't want this to become a discussion on whether you can or cannot separate the art from the artist. I will say this, though. From an educational perspective, when you look at art and the artist, you have to take them both in the context of the time that they were in when said art was created, and take them in the context of the current time, because art itself is not stagnant. It permeates throughout history, and that includes the current day and age. I swear to God, though, if we have to do another Morgan Wallen pop analysis, I'm just going to stare at the chart and go,
what the hell, I wouldn't trade your kind of love for nothing else. Oh baby, last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all.
Hopefully the next time we do a country pop analysis, it'll be with a less controversial artist, like Mickey Guyton or Chris Stapleton.
You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. We said we had enough.